Well, Brendan, gosh, we've got a lot of questions from our lovely viewers for you.
Thank you, lovely viewers.
Would you like to answer some of them?
I would love to.
Is there anything you haven't done that you really want to do? Because it seems like you've done so much.
I mean, I would say I feel like there's so much I haven't done because I think there's so much that we get to do in this world, which is pretty cool.
I agree.
Specifically, things I haven't done. It sounds like a cop-out, but I always want to travel more.
Sure.
And that's mostly because my brother travels all the time.
Oh, really?
My brother and his best friends from college have been traveling the world since college.
Wow.
And they basically accrue points from like loyalty programs, and then they combine their ticket. So they'll be like, oh, I've got a bunch of airline points, combine it with mine, we can both go.
That's so
and then,
smart.
oh, I've got the hotel points, we'll do this. So they go every 3 months on some crazy, awesome vacation.
I wish I had been smarter about this sort of thing when I was younger, because now I know people who do that, and I didn't even realize that that was a thing you could do to, like, get points, and then you get to go places, and I really
Well, there's still
watched
time.
that. There is.
You will continue to buy things in life.
You're right.
So traveling more would be something I'd want to do.
Sure.
I'm always into cool ways to give back. So like I volunteered with middle school students for the past year with a program in LA.
That's cool.
That you go and teach them about filmmaking. And
Oh,
then you
that's so
make
cool.
shorts with them, which was a lot of fun. And then I'm working on a grant right now for basically college students that want to combine technology and live performance.
Oh.
And whatever that means to them. It's not there to like, we're going to give you $1 million, but it's a small grant to basically enable them to buy like a piece of equipment they otherwise wouldn't have access to. Like
Sure.
this really cool 3D projector, or
Sure.
this cool kind of paint that we can use for projecting, or you know, these body sensors that when we do a dance piece, it like the computer can detect it or something. You know, there's all these cool ways that people are incorporating technology and art.
That's
and
really
I
neat.
want to support that.
That's cool.
So I think I want to be more engaged and supportive in the overall kind of
Sure.
artistic community.
Yeah. You're working on something in the coming days, weeks.
I am.
Is that something you can talk about?
Totally. The reason I have all this hair on my face.
I just thought it was just for this.
Nope. Yeah, I just grew this. Yeah, I just wanted to look really edgy.
For Craftversations.
Craftversations.
Yeah, that's fine. Good.
I am part of my hometown, Durham, North Carolina's first web series, which is called Hype.
Hype.
And it is about kind of the intersection and the overlap of startups and entrepreneurs and the underground hip-hop scene, which I'm not a huge part of by any stretch of the imagination, but I think it's really cool that basically they're looking at the story of this young African-American who's kind of at the intersection of like having his own app and starting things up versus the hip-hop career he wants to have and being pulled into different directions.
Interesting.
And seeing where the overlaps are. So
Are you involved in this from the like production side, or are you just acting in it?
I am executive producing,
Okay.
along with many others, and then I am going to make a appearance as a fellow tech guy, kind of very Silicon Valley, very like hipster
I see.
weirdo. So I'm going to shave off everything but the mustache.
Whoa!
And then give myself a little bit. I've been slowly getting myself to more of a hipster haircut with like the
Sure.
sides shaved and longer on top.
How do you feel about rocking the stash?
I have done it before. I already can look pretty sketchy. So I think that it's not a look that I could work with full time, but I will enjoy it for a weekend.
We, of course, made Joey Richter grow a stash for Poe Party as Hemingway, and he ended up really liking it, and he kept it for a while, and we were all kind of like, oh, sorry, and he was like, it's great, so you never know.
Yeah, I've gotten very specific. I'm toothpick painting now.
Ooh, look at that. Ta-da!
Oh,
Piece of
pencils
cake.
down.
Looks great. Oh no, if you're not done, you don't have
Look
to.
at that, it's a mojito.
As working artists, what helps you both to recenter and remember why you do what you do when times are harder?
I think that I was born in the perfect era
How's that?
for me, because we have this direct dialogue with the audience. Because for me, I find that the voices in my head are very loud and unpleasant. So by getting to literally hear the voices and see the faces and read the comments of other people, those can sometimes be a little louder than what I'm telling myself, which is very helpful.
I would agree. I love meeting you guys in person. I think going to cons or fests or whatever is really important because it can be easy to, when you're not like seeing people's faces online, not that interacting with people online is great, but to actually like be there in person, it's easy, I think, to see something and go, oh cool, we got a lot of views. And you're like, great, that's awesome. But it just sort of loses the humanity of it. And being face-to-face with people and hearing some of the very nice things that you guys have said to us in the past and continue to do, it's just, I really need that sometimes to remember, like, why I'm doing this, because it's so hard and it can be so discouraging. But when you have people out there who genuinely like what you do and want you to keep doing it, that's really encouraging.
I also swim every day for that purpose.
Oh, yeah?
Because I can immerse myself just in water, turn everything off. It's kind of my white noise. Mm-hmm. So I find that to be very, very relaxing.
That's cool. I am not a swimmer. I'm a pretty bad swimmer, actually.
Well, you're here, so you're clearly a good enough swimmer.
You mean I haven't drowned?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't drowned. I haven't been in the water that much, but yeah, go me.
You just went to Hawaii, though.
I did. I'm not a person to, like, get in the ocean.
No?
Nope. Mm-mm. No thanks.
Well, is it because of what else is in the ocean?
Mm-hmm.
Or
and because I'm not a great swimmer.
Okay.
I'm not, like, terrified of it, but I'm like, I'll wade in it, and that's plenty.
Have you ever met a shark?
No. Have you?
I have.
I had a feeling the way you asked that you had. How was that?
It was scary.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. But what I'm excited about is I've met more dolphins.
That's
than I have
cool.
Sharks. So I've gotten to surf with a lot of dolphins.
That's cool. We did see some dolphins in Hawaii, but not very close up. But still, that was exciting. You and I recently worked together.
We did. I was very excited to finally
I was excited.
officially work with you.
Yeah, that you brought me on.
Of course.
You were working on a PSA.
For the city of Santa Monica.
Oh, I didn't realize it was Santa Monica specifically.
It is basically to talk about traffic in Los Angeles and some solutions for it.
Yeah.
It's called 100 Hours LA.
Yeah, I will put a link to it in the description.
When you watch the video, you will hear a familiar voice.
You will hear the sweet, sweet sounds of my voice.
You can be as disparaging as you like, but there was multiple conversations with the client regarding what the city of Los Angeles sounded like.
Really?
So you are the voice of the city of Los Angeles.
Wow. That's my claim to fame.
So yeah.
No, I was excited. I like doing voiceover, and I want to get more voiceover experience. I'm somewhat experienced, but I'm not doing voiceover all the time as my main thing. So I was excited to do it.
I love voiceover.
I do too. It's so great. It's so fun. It's not easy, but it's just nice to go into work and not worry about what you look like.
What do you find being the least easy thing about it?
It's just a different way of acting.
Okay. Yeah.
And a lot of times, like with this one, there was like constraints in terms of like, you have to say all of this in a way that sounds nice and lovely and believable within this amount of time.
Right.
Which can be difficult.
Right.
I'm sure you know that because you've done obviously plenty of ads for Staples and various
in
things.
that studio we were in.
You're right, which is such a great studio.
Them.
And I haven't done very much of that. The voiceover I've done has been more narrative, playing characters or what have you. So, I mean, I've done a little here and there, but it was nice to get a little more experience in that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for having me.
No, thanks for being on it.
You had to go all over and like shoot all kinds of stuff all over city, right?
We had over 60 different shots of little moments that they wanted in LA. Mm-hmm. And it was very funny because they hired me to just produce this video, but they had storyboarded it shot by shot. Mm-hmm. And they used Google Images. Oh, okay. And this company in San Francisco made the storyboard. Oh, so we had a bunch of non-Los Angelinos choose some Google images, some of which were not from LA.
Really?
And we had to recreate these images. So there's like
realize
people on a beach in Hawaii with like a palm tree and a hammock, and I had to go figure out how to shoot that exact shot.
That's really funny.
In the middle of Venice. The hardest one was they wanted a guy jumping off of a cliff, like into the water, which looks awesome.
Did you get that?
We did.
That's
crazy. There's only 2 places that you can actually jump from a height into water in LA. And one of them, people die.
Oh,
like
dear.
Lots of people die.
Oh, dear.
So it was like, well, we're not going there.
Obviously.
So talk about having to location scout. We finally found this other place where they shot part of Planet of the Apes. I was such a mom on set where we got the guy who is a professional like diver.
Sure.
And he came out and I had him go in the water and see how deep it was, and then I'm a certified lifeguard, so I was on standby, and we had another certified lifeguard that was on standby, and I was like, okay, we're going to do it once, maybe twice. Mm-hmm. So you're going to go, and as soon as you come up, give me the thumbs up or the thumbs down. And I was so paranoid about something happening to this poor guy.
Of course.
And of course, he's sitting there loving every minute of it. He jumps. We did a second one for camera. And he's like, well, can we go again? Can I Hey, will you Instagram it? Like, he's so delighted to do this. And I'm like, no, not on the company insurance. Like, we got the 2, we're done. And so he, the next day, or for like the next week, he kept sending me him going back and jumping and sending me different videos.
You like made his
of
life.
Him jumping. He loved it.
That's really cool.
So
that's really fun.
Yeah, so it's a great little video, and hopefully it cures all traffic in Los Angeles.
It's going to. I'm confident that this is the answer. We've done it.
We've done it, you guys. We fixed it.
How do you person so well? What is your gym routine? You've already talked about that. How do you stay so positive?
It is very telling and very fantastic that people think I person well, because I have put a lot of effort into having a very positive public perception, because I think as an artist it's my job to help everybody keep looking at the good and keep going. And when I was right after my first web series with a very unexpected digital thing happening, I went through a really, really bad breakup. And I did the things that we all feel inclined to do during a breakup, of like posting a lot of things that made me feel really good at 3 a.m. And I had an old director friend of mine from a play that I'd done who contacted me and just said, hey, you don't get to do this, and you need to stop right now. It's not responsible for anybody to do, but you especially, have more people looking, and you... And especially because so many of the early projects I had done were, I want to say, more like socially aware, in the sense that like I had a big LGBT following that would like couldn't come out at home, but they came out to me, or they opened up to me over letters or emails about things that they felt they couldn't talk about. And for me to then kind of betray that in some way by kind of acting kind of bratty and angsty and going through my nonsense on Facebook wasn't really constructive or helpful. And so I wanted to remain more of a approachable, positive force, so that no one felt like they were bothering me. That when they're going through their thing, they can say like, hey, I need to talk about this thing that's, I don't feel like I have somebody.
I think it's a balance, right? Because I've certainly been in those situations, and I think it can be easy to want to, just for, like it is for anybody, it is for us too, to want to like get on Twitter and sort of spout your feelings or thoughts. And the last really difficult time in life that I went through, which was at the end of 2015, that was really tempting as well. And I did some of it. And I do think there is value in, well, at least I have always tried to be a real person, and to be honest, and to, when things aren't necessarily great, I don't think you have to put up a facade of everything being awesome all the time, especially like with acting. I've very much tried to be honest about what that looks like. But it's not always the healthiest thing, I think, for people to sort of find that, to get that as like a, not a crutch per se, but just to find a lot of release in that, because it's, I don't know, it's just not the best way to do it sometimes, especially for somebody that maybe has more followers than your average person.
I just feel like negativity spreads much faster than positivity.
I agree.
So I realized that those posts just kept sticking around longer and getting quoted longer. And I was like, I'd rather have positive. I'd rather, what is it they say? If you can't say something nice, say nothing at all.
Don't say anything at all.
And I think you're right. That's not denying activism and speaking out when you see injustice in the world. And injustice in the world was not that I went through a breakup.
Right.
Like that's not Black Lives Matter.
Right.
That's not whatever political genuine opinion people have about something that's better for the world or something that's unjust in the world. I think that that's me going through a personal problem, and I don't necessarily need to be a jerk about it.
Totally. And I do think, I don't know, I agree. I think there's like something that's like appealing about sort of negativity, and I have known people that get a lot of, I don't know, just satisfaction out of being negative, and it's something that I don't know, sort of let rub off on me a little bit for a while. And then I realized, like, oh, I hate this. Like, I don't like myself. Like, I don't like feeling this way all the time and sort of looking for things to be upset by. Not to say that you can always be upset by things, but I don't know. I'm inherently a person with a positive outlook, and I think that's good, and I think the world needs that. And
Would
I
you
don't
say
think Yeah.
Are you're a optimist at your core?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
And I don't know. The world has plenty of cynics, and it's harder to be positive because life is hard and the world sucks. But, if we all fall into that all the time, especially when it becomes sort of a thing of like just constant complaining, no thanks. I would rather, not to say that there aren't things that are worthy of being complained about, there absolutely are, but after a while, just like, it's just nicer to feel, good. It's just nicer to be positive and to try and be happy. What's one thing you have learned from a character you have played?
I learned how the internet works from Squatters and my Hank character. And I really just was kind of taken aback by how direct and personal the internet was and how quickly people see that as who you are.
Interesting.
Because they want to relate and they want to instantly form some type of a bond. So they're like, oh, you're that guy.
Sure.
And it's enabled me to kind of see a lot of trends in the industry. Because I don't think I was thinking about an entire brand or franchise or career when I made the first thing that I wrote.
I see.
And so it was cool to kind of, from that perspective, I got invited basically to guest star as the douchebag on a lot of other people's playgrounds.
Sure.
Which instantly gave me immediate access into everyone else's fandoms, but made me the guy no one liked. So it was fun to kind of be a guest star in so many different early YouTube universes and kind of be like, oh, this is how you make the sausage.
I guess, speaking of, I would be remiss to not ask you about Frankenstein.
Sure.
How was that?
Frankenstein was great. I knew so many people involved. I've known Bernie for as long as I've been in LA.
Really?
When I first moved to LA, there was this kind of underground new media web culture, but no one really knew what to call it. Like, they weren't web series.
Sure.
We were all just kind of making these short form television shows, and we would meet up at bars. These group of guys who had this little company called Tube Filter would host these meetups, and we'd all go hang out and swap equipment, talk about ideas, talk about locations that would let you film, who had a cool living room, and Bernie used to take all the photos.
Yep, that's how I met Bernie,
That's how everybody met Bernie. And I was in a lot of Bernie's kind of early web projects that are now not on the internet anymore, which is sad.
Really? Why?
I don't know. They're private.
When we were doing Squaresville, Matt Inlow was very intent about us going to those things.
Yeah.
And it's true. It was a very different, culture, or just, so much has changed around that, group, I guess. It's obviously much bigger now.
Right. Yeah, but it was kind of like a baby VidCon.
Yeah. And lots of mixers and meetups and stuff would happen, and I didn't know what we were doing. But I went, and I sort of, not that that's why I'm in LBD, but I don't know that I necessarily would have auditioned for LBD if I didn't know Bernie, and Jenny in the first place. So it's crazy how that stuff sort of happens.
Yeah. And then Brett and Lon, who were the creators of Frankenstein, they had me on a show called QVG, which was a machinima show where I was basically a QVC salesman for weapons from video games. So they're like, today we've got the Lancer, and I'd go through the specs, and someone would die every episode. I would unintentionally kill someone.
Of course.
And it was a fun little show, and I think we did over 20 of those. And so I was used to hanging out with those guys. And Sarah Fletcher was in the first web series I was ever in for the Fine Brothers. So I was familiar with her work and big fan of her.
Yeah.
So it was cool because it was basically just getting to go play with all these different worlds that had collided together. I was a very early DeFranco fanboy who was part of creating SourceFed. So that's how I knew about Steve Zaragoza. So it was just basically kind of like going to summer camp.
Sorry, this is not a question for you. Someone asked what the album artworks on the wall are.
Oh yeah, what are these?
We have Jukebox the Ghost.
Okay.
Here, which is one of mine and Sean's favorite bands. We have The Decemberists, The Crane Wife, which is my favorite album of all time.
Okay.
We have down here Neutral Milk Hotel. And what's the name of that album?
In the Airplane Over the Sea.
In the Airplane Over the Sea. These four were Sean's originally.
Okay.
These two have been added since
Cool.
Since the recent events. Beirut and Harlem Shakes and Arcade Fire. Is that Funeral? Yeah. There you go. That's what those are.
Nice. What is the first record you ever bought?
Probably Reliant K.
Which one?
Reliant K.
Reliant K?
Yeah.
Nice. What is the
loved them
first
so
CD you ever bought?
Well, no, record.
Right.
That.
That's the first record
I didn't
you
even
ever
buy
bought?
that. Yeah, I don't buy records.
Okay.
First CD was probably Relient K.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure Anatomy of the Tongue-in-Cheek.
Have you ever bought a cassette, or am I dating myself?
Oh, I have, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What was your first cassette?
Probably Jackie Velasquez, who was a contemporary Christian artist.
Nice.
I was big into contemporary Christian music when I was younger.
Hey, no shame, no shame.
Yeah, no. No, I don't know what a cassette is. How bizarre.
What is this? What is this witchcraft? Well, with 13 Reasons Why, everyone knows what a cassette is.
Oh, I didn't watch it. But good, now I don't feel so bad. What about yourself?
My first record was Sound of Silence.
Okay, yeah, good.
My first cassette tape was the Ghostbusters soundtrack.
Okay, cool.
Saved up for that.
Uh-huh.
And my first CD was 2 CDs simultaneously.
Okay.
Which was Bryan Adams, Summer of '69.
Okay.
And Green Day's Dookie.
Wow. Yeah. I'm impressed you remember all of those so specifically.
Well, it's music.
Yeah.
It's the soundtrack to our lives.
I love music too, but I don't remember what I bought.
We just talked about it.
I mean, I think that's what I bought first, but I'm not 100% sure. A lot of people, including Ashley, wants to know what our favorite things about Ashley are.
Favorite things about Ashley? Wow.
She says, what's your favorite quality of mine besides my humility?
Yeah, her humility is up there, for sure.
She does a great British accent.
She does do a great British accent.
Let's say that.
She memorizes a lot of content very quickly.
Oh, yeah?
That's impressive.
Yeah, she does, I guess. I guess I should know that about her.
I think that's going to become a more important thing for us artists to do. I think live streaming is taking us in that direction. That the more you can perform, the better. Kind of like the soaps of the early television days. So I think that she's remarkable at that. She travels well.
Oh, that's good.
Not everyone does. I don't travel well.
Ashley and I have shared many a bed at different cons. So yeah, I guess she does travel well. Yeah. We've been, I don't know how to say that in a way that doesn't sound weird, but we've been sisters.
Just live in the awkwardness.
We've been sisters,
just
that's what it is.
let it be.
Thank you, Brendan, for joining us today.
Oh, that's it.
That's it.
I survived my Craftversation.
Hold up your creations.
Okay.
I will hold up mine.
I think I'm going to show the evolution here.
Got some drinks, got some treats, got some bizarrely colored things.
There's nothing bizarre.
Your yellow chocolate.
Look, yellow chocolate might be the latest thing.
It might be.
Might be the biggest trend.
You're right. Thank you, Brendan, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
It was a joy. And everyone, until next time, paint by numbers your truth.
Oh, that's deep. That's deep. Or don't. You can use different colors. I think what we've really learned is that you can make your own way.
Yes.
You don't need instructions or rules or numbers in life.
Be a free spirit.
Yeah, everything turns out just fine.
Or follow the instructions and come up
or
with
don't. Or don't.
Bye.
Thanks to Warren Day for making this video and many of my other videos and projects possible. Thank you, Warren. Hope you're having a great day.